This is the time to go back and revisit things we've already expanded on, where maybe we've taken things a little too far. It's about balance and harmony and equilibrium, expanding our inner world, expanding our wisdom, expanding our knowledge base. Hi everyone, Heather here with Astrology with Heather.com, and I'm back with another super exciting extended 2-week forecast. And this one is for the new moon in Libra and the waxing phase of the upcoming lunar cycle, which lasts from September 25th all the way through October 8th of 2022. And this new moon brings incredible opportunities for internal growth and expansion, and the expansion of deep innate wisdom that will serve us quite well when Jupiter moves forward and things start expanding externally well into the future. And so I'm super excited about this new moon energy. It's actually really nice in a lot of different ways, especially kind of considering what we've been through the past few months and what we're going to be getting into in the next few weeks after this lunar cycle. And so take this energy while it's here, use it well. This is a really great time to revisit also old opportunities, which I've been talking about in my previous forecasts, for the Mercury retrograde, which you can find floating around somewhere up here. Make sure you watch that if you haven't already done so. And also for that last full moon that we had in the sign of Pisces. That was a big one. And it was a really positive energy around making subtle, more gentle changes that are kind of stemming from the craziness that we've had going on, again, those past few weeks. This new moon in Libra is going to be in an exact opposition to Jupiter in retrograde in the sign of Aries. And so this is going to be all about expanding our inner world, expanding our wisdom, expanding our knowledge base. This is also kind of a time to go back, always during the Jupiter retrograde, but especially when it's being highlighted by any really prominent energy like a new or a full moon. This is the time to go back and revisit things we've already expanded on, where maybe we've taken things a little too far. Maybe with Jupiter in the Mars-ruled sign of Aries, we were a little overly enthusiastic, or we jumped the gun on something, or we went a little too hard, too fast, and we need to backtrack and maybe retreat and retract a little bit instead of expand when it comes to the external growth, right? Maybe we grew something that we shouldn't have grown, expanded on something that didn't quite go the way we thought, or maybe we just kind of overdid it and overburdened ourselves, because this is definitely an energy of like overdoing it and overworking yourself. That combination of that Jupiter energy in the sign of Aries, that martial energy that's so connected to Aries, can make it so we're overreacting to things, we're over responding to situations, and we're overexerting ourselves, we're overexerting our will in pursuit of opportunity. And so that can be a really great thing for people who are a little less willful, a little less pushy, a little less eager to kind of jump in and assert themselves. But if you're already somebody who's very independent, strong-willed, and assertive, then again, this could be kind of overdoing it. Or if you're somebody who's kind of a workaholic already, this could be you overworking yourself or taking it a little too far. And so that's what's been going on up until Jupiter went retrograde. But now the Jupiter retrograde is highlighting the need to kind of backtrack and review where we might have done things a little overkill. And if you haven't already done so, make sure you watch my full forecast for Jupiter in the sign of Aries, because this is not over with. We'll be kind of getting a dip back into Pisces in a few weeks here. And then after that, we're going to be having Jupiter move back into Aries at the end of the year in December, and it'll be there until March of 2023. And so you want to kind of get a handle on what that forecast is for you and what this is going to be bringing in for you in terms of opportunities and areas where you could do a little excess, right? You could take things a little too far. The other things that are going on this month or this 2-week period are obviously Mercury still in retrograde. It's going to be stationing to go direct quite soon. And it's going to be stationing to go direct in a really positive alignment with Pluto. We talked about this in great detail in the Mercury retrograde forecast for the Mercury retrograde in Libra and in Virgo. So make sure you check that out. And I'm going to kind of get into the details of the next 2 weeks. But before we do, I just want to mention for those of you who are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Heather Eland. I'm a professional astrologer and I specialize in teaching astrology. My greatest passion is taking students who are struggling to put the pieces together all the way from there to giving really good quality, accurate, professional level astrology readings with confidence. And I do that in my Cosmic Academy of Astrology. We're opening up our doors again in just a couple of months here, so we're prepping for that. So make sure you get on the wait list so you don't miss out. We're going to have an early bird exclusive enrollment just for waitlist people coming up. So you want to make sure that you take advantage of that. And even if you're not new to my channel, welcome back. And I'm super excited to have you here. You kind of know the deal, but the way that I structure my videos is I start with this general forecast, just 5 to 10 minutes, maybe a little bit longer when crazy stuff is going on. Please don't skip this because it does provide an important context for the energy we'll be getting into when we go through all 12 signs. And speaking of which, when we get into the forecast for all 12 signs, make sure you listen to your sun sign, your moon sign, and your rising sign to get a more holistic overview of the energy for the coming 2 weeks ahead. At the end of each video, I do an overview of the next 2-week forecast, beginning with the full moon in the sign of Aries on October 9th. Stick around until the end if you're interested in that. All right, so getting back into the meat of this forecast. New moon in Libra, I like this energy. It could be also a time to pull back, not just because we overdid it, but like it's almost like an internalized period of rest and recuperation after going, pushing, expanding. This is a really deep introspective time, and it's not necessarily a solitary time, especially in the sign of Libra. So it could even be kind of taking time with other people, with people you love, and spending time kind of grounding yourself and coming back into a more harmonious state after, again, maybe taking things to excess. That's really what Libra is about. It's about balance and harmony and equilibrium. It's about relationships. It's about our connections and our interconnectedness with other people especially. And so this could be a really great time to spend some time with somebody that you love and care about, or take some time behind the scenes to focus on the relationships that matter to you most. Or even if you don't do that and you feel more solitary, as some signs might, which we'll get into, you can use this time really productively to just bring yourself back into that state of physical, psychological, spiritual equilibrium, because there's been a lot of enthusiasm going on, but also a lot of kind of chaos and rearranging and deconstructing in a lot of people's lives in a variety of different ways. So this is kind of about coming back into balance within yourself and without, in whatever way that you can. It's not about being busy. It's about taking that step back, because we're about to get busy again very soon, and you want to take this time to rest and regroup. After that full moon, we're actually going to be having the Venus-Mercury trine Pluto station direct, which we talked about in the Mercury retrograde forecast. But Venus is actually going to be trining Pluto on September 25th on the day of the new moon, which I love. This is really about getting clear about what you truly need, want, and desire in relationships. And this is about deep, honest communication in relationships, because Mercury is already forming a trine with Pluto around this time before it even stations direct. And so it's kind of just sitting there as it slows down and moves backward and then forward again. It's just sitting in this really nice trine with Pluto, which I love. This is about having the deep conversations. This is about facilitating intimacy through communication and that mental connection, as well as the physical connection and all of those levels. But it's really about talking things out and having those deep conversations. When Mercury is in a trine with Pluto of all planets. It's about going deep. Surface level communication is just going to be so boring and you're not going to want to do it during this time. This is not about small talk. This is about getting down to the core of something in your relationships, especially with the people that you already have a good deal of trust and intimacy with to begin with. This is deepening that. This is taking that further. This is also, being more discerning about your relationships. And it could be a time where you very easily are able to move away or transform or transmute the energy of a relationship that's not working for you. You can figure out what's wrong, what's the core issue there, and drudge it up and either decide, this is not for me anymore, and it could easily fall away and make space for something new. Or you might drudge it up and decide, I need to work with this. I need to alchemize this. I need to, make sure that this connection with this person, because they're so important to me, is correct, is deep, is aligned. And so that's a big energy coming up during this period, which I also really love. Mercury will be Pluto is also going to be stationing direct trine Mercury. So we have Mercury and Pluto just stuck, like not moving, barely moving in trine with each other during this period at the end of September, start of October. And so this is going to be a lot of depth being revealed, a lot of stuff that's being kept beneath the surface, especially information-wise, coming out into the open, into our consciousness, so we can think about it, so we can ruminate on it, so we can make a plan, right? That's what Virgo does. And take action, again, when things are moving forward. And so I really, really love that. The final thing, I love all of this. This is all great. So Mars is actually going to be in Gemini for a long time. We're going to be doing a forecast on the Mars retrograde in Gemini in just a couple weeks here. But right now it's trining Saturn in Aquarius on September 27th. And that's a really great outlet for that Saturn energy. If we've been feeling really stuck in a certain area of our lives where the forward momentum has just not been going ahead, and we haven't been making or feeling like we've been making progress, this Mars energy gives us momentum. It gives us a lot of energy, and it gives us the ability to be very disciplined in our pursuit of our goals. And it opens doors, right? Normally there's this energy with Saturn saying, no, 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 you have to take your time, you have to wait, you have to do this first, you have to go through the proper channels. And Mars is giving you an outlet to actually be able to move forward. Like, okay, you have to go through the proper channels, but there's this like other way, and you can not like force it to happen, but you have the ability to initiate and make it happen. And so again, really, really great energy. And that's what's going on in the next couple of weeks here. And so I want to get into the forecast for all 12 signs, but before we do, I just want to mention that right now we are offering 50% off the first month in my Cosmic community, which is my continuing education community for astrologers, where we do a new webinar or release a new webinar every single month on different specialized topics in astrology. This is different from my academy, which is for people who want to learn the whole system and learn to give readings. This is for people who have an understanding of a lot of the basics and want to kind of go deeper into different topics. And we're going to be learning actually on September 29th all about the lots of fortune and spirit in the birth chart. I'm super excited for this live webinar, so you can join us live for a very discounted rate. And this is actually your last chance to lock in your membership at the current rate before the price goes up in October. So make sure you take advantage of that. Down in the description below, join us live, browse our library of previous webinars, join in on the community discussions, and I hope to see you there. All right, so let's get into it. For Aries and for Aries rising. So for Aries, this new moon is highlighting the need to kind of take a step back from focusing so much on your personal growth, on your personal expansion, on your needs, wants, and desires, and on all of the opportunities that have been coming your way, and to kind of regroup and spend a little bit of time focusing on creating and facilitating new beginnings in your relationships, reharmonizing and rebalancing your energy in your life through your connections with other people or through revisiting your connections with other people. This could be a brand new beginning when it comes to an important relationship, an important friendship, an important business partnership, or this could be like a new relationship coming back into your life or coming into your life for the very first time. And so this could be, you know, somebody who comes into your life around this time that at this point isn't bringing like the external growth, but is helping you to grow kind of as a person, as a human being. It's helping you to better yourself. It's helping you to become more self-aware. That's a big thing too. That's going to be coming up with this energy highlighting the Jupiter retrograde in your sign. That's all about self-awareness and self-knowledge and self-discovery. And so this is a time to dig deep and to figure out who you are and to allow other people to help you to figure that out. This is also a really great time for deepening intimacy and communication with your coworkers, with your employees, with your employers, understanding maybe your bosses or superiors a little bit better, or understanding the dynamics at your workplace a little bit better. This is also a period where there could be a really important document that comes up involving your work, or some really important information or communication that's being revealed to you or re-revealed to you, where you're able to understand it or perceive it in a different way. This is also where you're going to be having some really deep, really, I would say, like almost brilliant insights involving your work and your career in general that can help transform the way that you deal with that area of life, the way that you deal with your work, or the way that you help people through the work that you do. And so I really love that too. And so that's what's going on for Aries. For Taurus and for Taurus rising. For Taurus, this new moon is happening in your 6th house. This could bring a brand new beginning, a cosmic reset when it comes to your health, your work, and your daily routines. This could also bring about a new opportunity for you to show up in service of somebody that you care about, or in service of other people, just kind of in general, because of that axis, especially with that 6th and 12th house in combination and Jupiter being in your 12th. This could be a spiritual calling to do something physically and actively, that 6th house energy, to show up and serve and help other people in a big way. This is also potentially a new beginning when it comes to your health, or you kind of coming into balance a little bit more because you've been focusing on growing your internal world, growing your creativity, growing your spiritual practice in some way, doing things that are a little bit more intuitive, doing things that are a little bit more behind the scenes, maybe just wanting to expand on your solitude and rest time. And this new moon is going to be a reset that's going to help you to rebalance by focusing a little bit more on the external reality and the things that you have to do kind of on a day-to-day basis in order to maintain your physical existence health-wise, but just in general. It's your health and it's your work and your daily habits and routines that maintain your existence, that maintain your livelihood, that you're going to be focusing a lot more on over this whole lunar cycle, but especially around the time of the new moon. Great time to set intentions for health and for work and for service related things. This could also be a new beginning or something new that's being initiated involving pets or animals in general. And so if that's applicable to you, you can take that into account when you set your intentions for the new moon. Mercury retrograde, I love this actually. If you are a Taurus, sun, moon, or rising, anywhere at those end degrees, I would say anywhere from like 22 to 30 degrees, you're going to have this like really extended, long, grand trine with your ascendant or sun or moon, and that's going to be beautiful. This is a deep period of self-discovery and empowerment. This is a time where you're going to rediscover the things that bring you joy. This is the time that you're going to rediscover the things that light you up. This is where you're going to discover the things that expand your mind that you absolutely love. You're going to go a lot deeper into your value systems. You're going to be learning something maybe on a deeper level, or you're obsessed right now with learning something and that's bringing you a lot of joy. Or this could even be you going deep into a research project for something that you might teach or bring out into the open later on. This is also a great time to deepen intimacy and connection with your children, to get to know them better, or to kind of facilitate more open and honest communication, especially for those of you who have older children. This could be a really great time for that too. So overall, I love, love, love this energy for Taurus. I love this energy for almost everyone. All right, and then for Gemini and for Gemini rising. This new moon is happening in your 5th house, which could bring a fresh start and new beginnings that can help to rebalance you in the area of just joy, right? Experiencing joy, doing the things that you love to do because you love to do it. Maybe you've been focusing a little bit more externally on your social situation, on your social connections. Maybe you've been out there, connecting with other people and focusing on the things that they love to do and focusing a little less on your own creative self-expression. And if that is the case, this could be a really great time to kind of refocus on that. I do love this though for kind of going out and doing something with a group. So maybe going to like a concert or some sort of event or something along those lines could work really well for you at this time. In general, this is a really great time to kind of backtrack from focusing, again, too much on socializing and focusing a little bit more on the things that you love, the things that bring you joy. And if you're a parent, this could be a time to focus your energy less on your friends and your networks and focus a little bit more on your children and their needs and rebalance in that way. I love this energy too of the Mercury station and the Venus in trine with Pluto in the area of home, family, property, and real estate. For Gemini in particular, if you are a Gemini sun, moon, or rising anywhere from 22 to 30 degrees, this might be a little bit more tense for you. However, this could facilitate a really important like transaction involving real estate or involving your home. This could facilitate a loan or a refinancing or something along those lines, although I don't know that people are wanting to be refinancing right now. But this could even be something like getting a payout for an insurance payout for like your homeowner's insurance. This could be something that comes through, like a financial situation that comes through that involves your family or your parents in some way. And this could also just be maybe you honing in on an investment that you want to make that involves real estate or property. Or this could just be you really deepening your communication and healing through a lot of old wounds and issues involving your family and your kind of ancestry. It could be like a time to heal through ancestral patterns. It could be a time to heal through early childhood trauma, early childhood wounds. This could be a time of deep introspection, deep forgiveness, and deep transformation. For Cancer and for Cancer rising, this new moon is happening in your 4th house, which is the house of home, family, property, real estate, things that go on behind the scenes. You've been working on expanding on a lot of really incredible opportunities when it comes to your career and your public reputation. It might not all be coming all at once, but there's something going on there where there are opportunities that have come up for you. Maybe you went a little too overboard, or maybe you've just been spending a lot of time focusing externally. Now is the time to bring it back down to earth and rebalance by focusing on your home, focusing on your family, focusing on what's going on behind the scenes, what you want to come home to after your working hours. And if you're somebody even who is retired or not working, it could be that you have still been very externally focused, and now's the time to bring it back down, bring it back to your roots, bring it back down to your family, bring it back down to your home and your living situation, focusing more on what's going on behind the scenes. This energy with the Mercury retrograde station, Pluto stationing direct, Mercury stationing direct and Pluto stationing direct, and Venus, which is going to be trining Pluto as well. This is happening in your 3rd house and in your 7th house. This is such a great time to communicate something really important to somebody that you care about, or to receive an important communication from somebody you care about, and to get to know them and understand them on a much more intimate level. This is a time where meeting up with people or speaking to them one-on-one is going to facilitate a lot of almost like mental breakthroughs in whatever area really that you would need it the most. And so communication is great even with Mercury still in retrograde, but especially after it stations to go direct on the 2nd of October. This is going to be like full steam ahead, like excellent timing for communication until we have Venus moving into Libra on September 29th. For Leo and for Leo rising. So for Leo, this new moon is happening in your 3rd house, which is the house of siblings, extended family members, neighbors, your neighborhood. It's the house of short distance travel and vehicles, your commute. This this is an interesting one. So this could be like a new beginning involving a community project or your connections to people within your community in some way. It could be that you've been very externally and like globally focused, and now you're kind of bringing it back down to your hometown or to your place of living in your immediate environment. Maybe you've been traveling a lot. Maybe you've been all over the place. Maybe you've been expanding your mind through your direct experiences with other cultures, with other locations. And now's the time to kind of bring it back home, bring it back to your immediate community, and to spend some more time there. This is a great new moon in either case for revisiting like some old educational pursuit or even starting a new one. So if you wanted to take a course, launch a course, teach something, learn something, now is the time to make that happen. This could also be something coming up for you involving a travel opportunity or involving maybe a new vehicle or a new mode of transportation. That could be really great and work really well for you too. And so, yeah, and then kind of the energy of Mercury and Venus, Mercury stationing direct, Pluto stationing direct in the 6th house, Mercury stationing direct in the 2nd house, Venus is in the 2nd house. This could be a really important time for you to get very clear on what it is that you want for yourself financially. Not just cash flow, but like, what do you want for your savings? What do you want to own? What do you want to do with your money? How do you want to spend it? How do you want to save it? This is a really great time to get very clear on your budget, get very clear on some sort of financial plan. This is a great energy for that. This is also a great energy for you to lock something in with your work, especially your day-to-day work routines and experience, or an important project in your work, like a research project, especially if that's applicable to you, or to do something deeper involving healing or psychology, or some sort of other type of transformative work or occult studies or something like that. All of these can be very profitable for you, I would say. So I really love this energy for that. This would be a really great time to transform the way that you do your work in order to make it much more meaningful for you, but also much more abundant when it comes to the financial repercussions of the work that you're doing. Okay. And so for Virgo and for Virgo rising, the new moon is happening in your 2nd house, which is the house of money. And this is an interesting one because Jupiter's been transiting your 8th house, which often brings money that comes in through an outside source. It could be that your partner's income was increasing. It could be that an investment paid out. It could be that you got an insurance payout, or maybe you just like bought insurance or something like that and it is going to pay out. This is one of the best times, by the way, when Jupiter is transiting your 8th house to invest in some sort of insurance policy. It's almost guaranteed that at some point in that 12-year cycle, you will get like a good payout, and it'll be like a good investment of your money. So that's something to think about too. Investments in general can be nice when Jupiter's in the 8th house. But this could be that money came in through inheritance, an outside source, an investment, insurance, all those things, taxes, like extra money that you didn't expect came through as like a refund or something like that, or maybe you just paid less. Regardless, there's like good money stuff going on for you, and it transcends the 8th house. It could be coming through your work too. But this is a time to focus a little bit more on money-making opportunities that come through the work that you do very directly, your active involvement in that. This is also looking at your savings, your earnings, your what you do with your money, so like your property and your budget, and also investments too. This is a really great time to get something started or get something going in that area in one form or another. This is also a good time to set intentions for whatever it is that you want for yourself when it comes to your income, when it comes to your money, when it comes to your resources and your property. And when I say property, not like real estate property, I mean that can be it too, but like things that you own that are not that real estate property are usually more 2nd house. Okay, and so Mercury is stationing to go direct in trine with Pluto, which is stationing to go direct in your 5th and in your 1st house. You have Venus there. This is a great energy, especially for end degree Virgos. So if you are a Virgo sun, moon, or rising anywhere from 22 to 30 degrees, you're going to be experiencing this in the most positive possible way. This is a deeply transformative energy. This is where a new relationship can come in and show up, and it can kind of throw you for a loop. It can transform who you are, your life, your experience. This is also where you are going to be very articulate. This would be a great time period for you to speak about something publicly, to share something, to write something, to communicate something really deep and really important that you are so passionate about. That your passions are going to be on your mind, and you need to share them at this time, and you will be recognized, and people will people will enjoy it. You'll get like a lot of good reception for whatever it is that you're trying to convey or share with other people, so long as you are deeply and truly connected to it and you are passionate for it absolutely at your core. Okay. And so for Libra and for Libra rising, for Libras, this is your new moon. So yeah, and especially if your birthday is around this time, if you're a Libra sun, happy birthday. But this is a really great year of new beginnings that are going to be really positive. It doesn't mean that everything happens that year, but when you look back on that year, like a few years from now, you're like, wow, that's where everything started. And I didn't realize it was going to turn into all of this later on, but it was seeded at that time. And even like if you're a Libra rising, this is the time where something could be seeded that's really, really important. That's going to change your reality. That's going to change your experience. That's going to change who you are, the way you show up in the world, the way that you interface and interact, especially with other people in relationships. But this is really about focusing on you. There's been a lot of energy expanding on opportunities through relationships and in relationships. Relationships have been growing with Jupiter in your 7th house, growing in importance, growing in intensity, growing maybe in volume. And now is the time to focus a little bit more on your needs, your wants, your desires. What do you want to initiate? What do you want to take charge of? What do you want to bring into your own life because you want it? Something that is for you, not for other people, which is kind of an interesting energy because Libras, tend to be very, very aware of the needs, wants, and desires of other people. They're very giving. They have that reciprocity. And so this is more about focusing on your needs at the time of this new moon. Whatever it is that you want to initiate, you have the green light to do it. And other people in this context could help you to grow what you want to grow for yourself. The Mercury energy stationing to go direct, the Venus energy in Virgo, trining Pluto, which is stationing to go direct in your 4th house. This is a lot of behind the scenes. There's a lot of introspection that you're going to be doing, a lot of thinking and hashing things out kind of behind closed doors in secret. This could also be like a secret that's being revealed that is actually a good thing. Where something that you weren't aware of, some information that had been hidden behind closed doors, all of a sudden comes out into the open, or at least comes to you in some way. And it ends up being like a really positive secret where it's like, I didn't know that, but I'm so glad that I know that now. That's great. This is a really great time for doing any sort of like journaling, meditation, any sort of inner work that's aimed on sort of emotional and psychological transformation. And this is just a really great time to kind of double down on your spiritual practices and the things that you do to kind of keep yourself level and connected, right? And feeling that way, like aligned. I love this, but this is a great time for writing also, and like creative types of writing, or definitely write down your dreams. Messages can come through, and that's where secrets could be revealed for you as well. For Scorpio and for Scorpio rising, this new moon is happening in your 12th house. This is a time to turn inward. Jupiter's been in your 6th house, and that's been driving up some like workaholic energy, or just bringing a lot of opportunities and a lot of really nice like flow to your work. And so it's kind of like you've been working, but you haven't been feeling burdened by it necessarily, even if you have been overdoing it. But now it's kind of a time where you're like, all right, I did all this, I accomplished all these things, I grew all this. Now I need to kind of regroup and reframe everything and take some time for myself, take some time away from all of this so I can think it through, so I can make the changes I need to make so I can backtrack on the things that maybe I went too hard on and grow other things that are a little bit more fruitful in your work, especially in your kind of daily habits and routines with your health. Like what's really worked for you that's improved your health over these past couple of months, and what maybe have you gone too far on that didn't work so well, those types of things. So taking time in solitude to kind of like reconnect with yourself and think about all of this, and just taking time to rest. This is a great new moon for rest and for like solitude and for meditation. This is also, we have Venus and Mercury that are going to be in your 11th house, trining Pluto, which is stationing to go direct in your 3rd house. So after the new moon is like, over with a couple days later, you're going to have this energy that's going to be very social. This is a really great time to connect really deeply and to facilitate greater intimacy in your friendships. This is where you're going to find trustworthy, loyal, deep connections on a social level, not necessarily romantically, although if you are a Scorpio, sun, moon, or rising anywhere from 22 to 30 degrees, this could bring a deep intimacy or romantic connection, or have you revisit an old connection that actually maybe you need to revisit on that romantic level. And so I love this for that, but this is a great time to have those important conversations with friends, to meet new friends, and to reconnect with old ones. All right, so for Sagittarius and Sagittarius rising, for Sagittarius, this new moon is happening in your 11th house, which is the house of friends, social networks, and people that you surround yourself with by choice. This is where you could have a new friendship come up. This is where you could have a new connection with somebody who, this could actually be like a reconnection too, because of that Jupiter retrograde on the opposite end. But this is about connecting to people who share the same passions. This is about networking with the right people to further your goals, for you to connect with your passions, for you to connect with the things that you love, for you to do more of that. This is a really great time to bring those people into your life and to set intentions to do so. This is also a great time to focus a little bit more on the social scene, as opposed to focusing on your own creative self-expression, or focusing maybe on your children. There's been a lot of good energy and joyful energy going on there. But maybe it's a little bit, it's some grown-up time that you need. You need to go hang out with some grown-ups. And that could be, as simple as that for Sagittarius. And then for the Mercury retrograde, so Mercury is stationing to go direct. Venus is in your 10th house. We have Pluto stationing to go direct in Capricorn. This could be you getting very, very clear on what you need, want, and desire for your career and for your finances and for the financial benefits of your career as well. This is where you're getting very clear on some important project, or a very important message could come through involving a career opportunity, or involving maybe a new job, or involving a new position, or a raise, or a promotion in some way. This could be some documentation or paperwork going through that's really important, that's been kind of like stagnant for some reason, where all of a sudden it goes through, everything is processed, and you get the job, or you get the opportunity, or whatever it is that you've been applying for involving your career, or involving something like out in the world, or the legacy that you leave behind after work if you're not somebody who's working. This is a great time where that could actually come to fruition for you. This is also a great time to connect with your mentors, with the people in leadership positions in your business that you look up to, or that hold some sort of power. That could get you really, really far right now. And so that's what's going on for Sagittarius. For Capricorn and Capricorn rising, this new moon is happening in your 10th house, which is the area of career, public reputation, people in positions of power and authority, and your relationship to them, and also the legacy that you leave behind after your working years, the impact that you make on the world at large. All of these things are up for a big reset. This is a great time to set intentions around all of those topics and themes. There's been a lot of expansion, a lot of great energy going on in your 4th house, which is the house of family, home, things that go on behind the scenes after work or outside of your working life. Now's the time to bring it back up into the open, bring it back out into your career, and to focus a little bit more on what you want to create in that realm, in that area of life. You have a lot of really great energy for that around the time of the new moon, so make sure you use that wisely. This is also a really great time to sort through what you want in terms of your work-life balance and to, yeah, and to get that. So what do you want it to look like, right? What do you want to work like really long hours? Do you want to work from home? Do you want to have more time to spend with your family? Do you feel like you want to expand more into your career and spend less time at home? What does that look like, and what does that balance look like for you? Because you can create that right now as well. For Capricorns, this energy of the Mercury stationing to go direct, in trine with Pluto stationing to go direct, and also the Venus in Virgo as a part of this as well. This is happening in your 9th and in your 1st house. This is a great energy for Capricorns, especially if you're a Capricorn sun, moon, or rising. Anywhere from 22 to 30 degrees, you're going to be feeling this in the most positive of ways. This is a deeply transformative energy. You could get an important message or an important lesson. This is really about honing in on your beliefs, your values, what you hold dear, and transforming your reality so you're more in alignment with your integrity. This is also where a message could come through from somebody in a foreign country, from a teacher, from somebody who is like from a different culture than your own, and it could really open your mind to something or help you to understand something a lot more deeply. This could also be travel plans that come up or come back around for you that end up being a really, it would probably be like a shorter trip, I would say, in this case, but like long distance, but a shorter trip for most people. But this is something that could really transform who you are. It's like you think it's just going to be a weekend away or a couple days here, a couple days there. But when you go, the experience is something that sheds a light on something that causes you to acquire a new wisdom that transforms your reality and transforms who you are. And it's a very empowering, really exciting experience for you. This would also be a really great time to dive into learning something new, like a higher educational pursuit. That would be really fruitful and also very transformative in a very similar way. For Aquarius and Aquarius rising, this new moon is happening in your 9th house, which is the house of, well, it's the house of your beliefs and perception of reality that are shaped by those beliefs, your religious and ethical value systems. It's the house of higher education and higher wisdom. It's the house of long distances and foreign travel. And so all of these things are up for a reset, are up for you to set intentions for new beginnings in these areas. If there's a place you want to visit, if there's a course you want to take or you want to teach, now's the time to set intentions to make that dream a reality. Anything you want to learn about, especially, you're going to have the green light, and any place you want to go to, especially, you're going to have the green light. It might not happen immediately, but this is a time where you could manifest that a lot more easily. The Mercury-Venus energy is happening in your 8th house, and it's in trine with Pluto in your 12th. This is a little bit more of an internalized energy. There could be a message that comes through where, you know, money comes through or something like that. Like you get a letter in the mail and it has a check in it, and you're like, what the heck is this? And it's like, you know, unexpected or like just a surprise, or it's something maybe even that you've been waiting for and waiting and waiting and waiting, and Mercury retrograde has delayed it, and all of a sudden you get it and you're like, you know, that's exciting, that's really happy, this is transforming something for me because I really needed this money for this, that, or the other thing. This could also be you getting very clear on what you need, want, and desire when it comes to your joint financial situation with your partner, your investments, your portfolio, your inheritance, your insurance policies, things like that. Getting your taxes in a row, getting all of those ducks in a row can be very fruitful right now, and can have like a payoff for you kind of in the future, in the short-term future, I would say. This is also a really great time for deep introspective work and deep inner healing, especially psychological and emotional forms of healing. And that could also translate to external physical healing as a result. For Pisces and for Pisces rising. So for Pisces, this new moon is happening in your 8th house, which is the house of debt. It's the house of joint finances. It's the house of inheritance and taxes and insurance, as I've mentioned in some of the previous signs. It's also the house of death. It's the house of rebirth. It's the house of transformation. It's the house of deep psychological wounds and issues. It's the house of obsession. It's the house of magic. It's the house of the occult. So many things are in this house. All of those things are things that you can set intentions for around those themes, around those topics. So maybe you want to dive deeper into some sort of occult study. Maybe you want to dabble in the magical arts. Maybe you want to set up an insurance policy. Maybe you want to help your partner. Or maybe this could even be like, sometimes these are things that are just happening too. Yeah, set intentions for these things, but it could be a new beginning for your partner and their finances, and that could benefit you financially through that opposition to Jupiter in some way. Whatever you're setting intentions for in the 8th house, especially when it comes to finances, that will benefit you definitely. Like this is really a great time to manifest abundance financially, especially if you're being very strategic or having a really good plan, and especially if your partner's involved, if you are in partnership, like involving your partner with those intentions and making sure you're on the same page and your energy is kind of like focused in on it together. This could be absolutely magical for you. I love, love, love also that we have Mercury stationing to go direct with Venus also is going to be in your 7th house, and this is in trine with Pluto stationing to go direct in your 11th. Great time to connect in partnership in general. This is a great time to have those deep, intimate conversations. This is a time to reconnect with your partner and to like reestablish intimacy, not just physical, but especially mental, psychological, emotional intimacy with a partner. This is also a time too, if you're not in partnership, where you could facilitate that in a new partnership, or you could deepen your connection with a close friend or a family member or somebody who you have that one-on-one connection with outside of kind of that romantic connection, where you can deepen your understanding of somebody, where you can, you know, become much more connected to a friend, where all of a sudden you're like, wow, this person is actually very important to me, and I didn't realize that we had this level of connection, this level of understanding. This is a great time to have talks about the hard issues. This is not a good time for surface level niceties. This is about going deep and having those real conversations with people, especially people you already know and are familiar with. And so that's what's going on for Pisces. Okay, and so that was my forecast for all 12 signs. In the next 2 weeks, we're going to be talking about the full moon that's happening in the sign of Aries. This is an interesting one because it's going to be in a conjunction with Chiron, which is the wounded healer in astrology. I just did a whole webinar about Chiron a couple of months ago in my Cosmic community. You can access that now for 50% off, so make sure you do that if you're interested in Chiron in your birth chart and what that means. But with this full moon, it's going to be an energy of bringing about a lot of, it's almost like it's illuminating and shining a light on our deepest wounds, our deepest insecurities, our deepest vulnerabilities. But this could also be a healing light. This could also be like, I needed to see this about myself so that way I could fix it. I needed to understand the problem. I needed to understand the roots of what was going on here before I could move on, before I could change something, before I could do the thing that I need to do, or before maybe you could show up and lead and help other people to heal through similar issues. And so that's going to be the energy of the full moon in Aries. We'll talk a lot more about that in 2 weeks, so make sure you're subscribed to my channel so you don't miss that. And thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please share it with your friends, and check out this video next, which is going to be all about the energy of Jupiter transiting through the sign of Aries, which is a big energy that's being brought up at the time of this particular new moon, which we talked about obviously all throughout the forecast. And so you need to definitely make sure you learn more or revisit this video so you can understand this better. This is not ending anytime soon. It's going all the way through until March of 2023. Thank you guys again, and I'll see you next time.